In this lesson, we're going to take a look at inventory on-hand quantities and availability. So after completing this lesson, you will know how to view and manage item quantities, perform transactions in the item quantity user interface, explain item availability, and describe reservations and demand documents, and how to create inventory demand, and how it is generally created. So let's take a look at on-hand quantity and availability. On-hand quantity refers to the inventory you have on hand in your sub-inventories. The sub-inventory is a physical place where inventory generally resides, and it is usually a physical place, but it could also be a logical place as well. You may have trucks that have inventory on them, and you may track those on the trucks. Stock locators identify the specific location of material within a sub-inventory. Not all sub-inventories have to have locators, but most do, because it makes it easier to go put things away and pick things when you need them. The item quantities page. So this is a screenshot of the new Redwood items quantity page, where you can see the items, where they're at, how many they have, if they're associated to a project and task. You can also drill down into the lot information, serial information. You can see the inbound, if it is consigned and is owned by you or the supplier still. You have the search windows plus the filters, and there's more filters. And you can see here, if you click on the filters little chip, you can add additional filters to the list. On the items quantity page, you can create a movement request transfer, issue, miscellaneous transaction, cycle count request. You can update the item status for the item, and you can edit the lot grade. And if you're unfamiliar with the transactions themselves, the movement request transfer is a lot like a sub-inventory transfer, where you can move between sub-inventories or locators. The movement request issue is a lot like a miscellaneous transaction, but it's just a little bit formal, but it issues from stock to a jail account, and miscellaneous transactions are just that. So what's the difference between on-hand and availability? So material that is available can be a combination of things that are inside your four walls, from a big picture, inbound, what's in receiving. What is available to transact is what's on hand minus any reservations, minus any pending transactions. So pending transactions, if you have any interfaces that haven't run, that have consumed material, that is a possibility. So if somebody goes and looks at the on-hand quantity and there's 100, but there's only 80 of them available, that generally means there's a reservation against that material. There could be a sales order, work order, something that's consuming part of that total quantity. Let's go take a look. We'll walk you through the practice. Now let's take a look at reservations. Reservations are a demand on material. If you're not familiar with reservations, I kind of liken it to you and your significant other or good friend want to go to your favorite place on the weekend. So you call up and you reserve a table for however many you're going to be. The restaurant know that this table or a table is going to be reserved on that evening. Then when you arrive, they allocate you a table for the duration of the service or for your dinner. With material, if we take a sales order says, I need 10 of whatever this product is. There's 100 in stock. So now the system says, okay, so there's 90 available, but 10 of those are going to go onto a particular sales order. When you release the work order or sales order, in this case, the system will say, oh, material from this particular location. If it has lot serial number, it could identify that as well. Then when you go pick it, it'll cover off the demand for the sales order, work order, whatever it happens to be. So that's kind of sort of how it works. There's what some people call high level reservation, where we know we're going to need 10 of those, and then the low level reservation or the allocation when you go to pick the material. In some cases, you could do a little low-level reservation from a sales order if you're picking a specific serial number for something, or if it's tied to a work order. But that's getting a little far in the weeds for this discussion. So, sources of supply. Pretty much anywhere there's material. So on-hand transfer orders coming from other orgs, purchase orders, requisitions, and then sources of demand, sales orders, work orders, maintenance work orders, account, alias transactions, user defined, transfer orders. All of those can be sources of demand. If we look at a little more detail, so on hand, what's in receiving, purchase on a purchase order, requisition, in transit material, transfer orders, pretty much most of those things I just listed. and then all the sources of demand. I did not mention like a cycle count or physical inventory adjustment could increase or decrease the quantity on hand. So that's another thing that could drive it. You can go in and review the supply and demand, and it will show you anything that is on hand, any open purchase orders, any movement requests to move the material, open work orders or release work orders. There's lots of things that can create it, but here's a good example of an item in stock, open POs, and a couple of pick requests. So let's go take a look at the practice. We'll walk you through that. But before we go,